in GOPEC Chairman and Republican strategist David Avella. He's on the ground in Des Moines right now, Iowa. David, weigh in here. What's your take on last night's debate?
Last night's debate affirmed where we are in this race. It really probably didn't change any dynamics. Rubio's on the rise out here. You hear it constantly from folks that you talk to that he's gaining more support. Even as I talked to folks in the debate hall last night, Maria, many of them said to me, I'm down to 2 or 3. I'm down to maybe 2 people, and Rubio's on my list. And then Senator Cruz and Ted, or Mr. Trump are the other 2 most commonly heard. Last night was a really important night for Ted Cruz. His people acknowledge that he has to win here in Iowa if he's going to ultimately become the nominee. And we're going to find out here in 3 days if the lead that Mr. Trump has had since June is one that is going to materialize, and is he going to win Iowa? But let me say this, Maria, it's probably time to start polishing off the participation trophies, because some candidates are going to have to accept that after they lose Iowa, their chance at getting the nomination is 0, and it'll be time to say thanks, but move on.
So you're saying that now the field will narrow, and you want that?
No question about it.
Yeah.
Look, we can only have one nominee. At some point, folks have to accept that they're not going to get the nomination. And if you don't win, you're not getting the nomination.
David, only Democrats hand out participation trophies. Aren't conservatives a little tougher than that? Come on now. The one thing I was going to say about Ted Cruz, and this is an insult. I think, like so many people, watched the Ronald Reagan speech on the Challenger, the 30th anniversary yesterday, that was written by Peggy Noonan, and I kept that hung in the back of my head watching this debate. Ted Cruz, when he doesn't have somebody to trade shots with, when you have to listen to him talk on his own, he's very hard to listen to. Just not what he's saying, but how he says it.
Do you agree with that, David? Do you agree with that, David? That's because since David said
he certainly had a very uneven performance last night. There were a couple issues that he handled well, how he talked about immigration for those people who support Ted Cruz and for the target audience he's going after. Yeah. He handled it very well. But it made no sense for him to sit there and argue with the moderators as to how the debate was going to work, or what the format should be, or how they should ask questions, or when he should get
the moderators. Yeah, it's gotten cool to attack the moderators.
I found it interesting.
You know, the thing about that, Maria, is that voters don't reward that.
No.
Voters don't reward people whining about the rules.
Right.
It makes
they just
you
want to
look
hear
weak.
a conversation, and a smart conversation.
I found it interesting they didn't rip on Donald Trump more throughout the 2 hours. They had a real good chance. And on top of that, you have Huckabee and Santorum showing up with Donald Trump.
I know.
I think some people are kind of sitting there waiting to see, can I be in your cabinet if you win? So I think night to start.
That's what that was about. Good point.
And Huckabee's running an anti-Trump ad in Iowa. He's standing on the stage with him. That was really weird.
Yeah.
But they
did it for veterans, right, Dick?
Right.
Oh, yeah.
But they didn't bring up Trump. That was pure strategy. They had that was their stage. It wasn't his.
Yeah, but maybe that was the point. They said, look, Donald Trump is not here. Let's not talk about him.
Right.
We have 2 hours to just talk about the issue.
Though. He's killing them in the polls. That has to be brought up.
Yeah.
They're down by 20 points in some of these polls.
But
he's there.
Clearly, Trump's analysis was, by not showing up, I'll still be the headline, and I think they wanted to take that away from him. If you look on the Wall Street Journal's most read stories yesterday online, 4 out of the 5 were Donald Trump. That is exactly what these guys don't want to see. Yeah. So I bet their advisors said, bring that name up as little as possible, stand on your own, you got to make a name for yourself.
Has there been another exciting election season as exciting as this, you guys, that you remember in past? This is incredible.
I have never had more people come up to me in the street, even perfect strangers, and ask me and get this close to my face and go, Trump, what do you think? Is he going to get it? And I'm like,
in the middle of downtown,
you're watching what I'm watching.
In the middle of downtown Orlando this week were people in the middle of the street with Trump posters on a Tuesday and Wednesday. There was a lot of backing for this man, a lot of emotion for him.
No kidding. David, thank you so much. David Avella, good to see you, sir. We'll see you soon.